All right. Welcome. This is Devin from Deadly Yard Gaming. For those coming for the first time, welcome. For those coming back, welcome back. So today we got some more information. Now this will be the third video for today. Passive Exile just released some more info on the expansion for Echoes of the Atlas. They released all the breakdowns for the Ascendancies. So quite a bit of information to go over, so we're going to get into it as fast as possible. First off, before we jump into that, there is a giveaway going on down below. I am giving away a copy of Lost Epoch, an action RPG game as well. Jump down there, click on it, enter to win. I will be drawing a winner at the end of the month. Good luck. Also, if you do like the content, smash that like button. I definitely appreciate it. It helps out the channel. If you want to be alerted of my videos whenever I bring them out, live streams, all that fun stuff, smash that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate you. Also, Discord link down below if you want to come join us, chit chat with us. I'll be playing with community if y'all want and looking for someone to play with. I'll be more than happy to play with y'all, help y'all gear, farm stuff, whatever the case may be. Feel free to join in and let me know. Even if it's not Path of Exile, I'll play many different games. So if I have it, I'll be more than happy to play with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Now, what I'm going to do here is just because there's a lot of inconsistencies, there's a lot of information to go over, and I don't want this to be an hour-long video. I'm going to go over what the nodes are now, and then I'm going to kind of come over these to just cover them to where y'all can pause and read through them yourselves there. And then I'm just, like I said, I'm going to go through all these with y'all here. So the first one up is Slayer. Now we'll have the timestamps down below to each one. So if you generally lean towards Raider, Slayer, Elementalist, whatever, you can just kind of go straight to it. I'll have those down below. So for the Slayer, let's start off over here. Overwhelm. Base crit chance for attacks with weapons is 8%, 10% to critical strike modifier per nearby enemy up to 100%. Nearby enemies have a 30% negative 30% to critical strike modifier. Here will be attack damage and crit strike chance, attack damage and attack speed. 10% more damage if you have killed recently. Cannot take reflect physical damage. 20% more damage with hits and ailments against unique enemies. Attack damage and attack speed. Kill enemies that have 20% or lower life when hit by your skills. Gain 10% increased attack speed for 20 seconds when you kill a rare or unique enemy. Gain 10% increased movement speed for 20 seconds when you kill an enemy. Over here, attack damage and attack damage leeches life. 100% maximum recovery per life leech. Life leech effects are not removed at full life. 10% reduced damage taken while leeching. We got attack damage again. Life leech. 20% of overkill damage is leeches life. 20% increased attack speed while leeching. Cannot be stunned while leeching. You are unaffected by bleeding while leeching. Attack damage and attack area. Increased global accuracy rate. +4 to melee strike range. 5% increased area of effect per enemy killed recently, up to 50%. Deal up to 15% more melee damage to enemies based on proximity. Last but not least, for this one, increase attack damage, endurance charge duration, and frenzy charge duration. Here are the ones that have been modified. Now, I love how up here it sits there and says essentially Inquisitor, Deadeye, and Elementals are the ones that got the major rebalance, while the other ones, the remaining class receives some numerical changes. These sure do look like more than just numerical changes. They're removing and adding. So quite a bit of change to them. So these are the ones that haven't changed, where they added these but removed those off the node. And then down here, these also as well. So they changed it from 0.2 to 0.4 there for the leech, and the melee strike range is plus it. They removed the +2 to +4, which is good for like the spin to win builds. Next one is Gladiator. So essentially, come up here first. 4% to maximum chance to block attack damage, 8% increased physical damage for each time you've blocked in the past 10 seconds, 80% increased physical damage if you block damage from a nuke enemy in the past 10 seconds, plus 1% chance to block attack damage for each time you've blocked in the past 10 seconds. Increased attack speed, 2% chance to block attack damage. Here we have 8% chance to block attack damage if you were damaged by a hit recently, cannot be stunned by hits you block. Your counterattacks deal double damage. Increased attack speed and chance to block attacks. Chance to block spell damage is equal to chance to block attack damage. Maximum chance to block spell damage is equal to the maximum chance to block attack damage. Over here we have attack speed and movement speed. More attack and movement speed per challenger charge. Chance to gain a 25% chance to gain a challenger charge when you hit a rare or unique enemy while in blood stance. Chance gain a challenger charge when you kill an enemy while in sand stance. Plus 10 to maximum challenger charges. There we go. So then over here we have increased attack speed, damage with one-handed weapons. Chance to gain a frenzy charge on kill with main hand. Chance to gain endurance charge on kill with offhand. 10% more physical damage while at maximum frenzy charges. Reduced physical damage. So this one's a 10% reduced physical damage taken while at maximum endurance charges. So there's for the defense part of it. Attack speed, physical damage. Attacks have 50% chance to cause bleeding. Attacks maim on hit against bleeding enemies. 25% chance to blind with hits against bleeding enemies. Enemies maimed by you take 10% increased physical damage. Increase attack speed and physical damage. Bleeding enemies you kill explode, dealing 10% of their maximum life as physical damage, 20% more damage with bleeding. That's an interesting path. I think if I would go, I'll probably go with that. So these are the modifiers that were changed, added, removed, all that fun stuff. Now on to Champion. Start here. Inspirational. 30% increased effect of non-curse auras from your skills. You and allies affected by your placed banner regenerate 0.1% of life per second for each stage. Banner skills reserve no mana. When you create a banner, it gains 40% of the stages of your placed banner. Increase evasion rating and armor. Increase effect of non-curse auras from your skills. Enemies taunted by you take 20% increased damage. Enemies taunted by you cannot evade attacks. Increased evasion rating and armor. Increased taunt duration. Chance to taunt on hit, 100% chance. 10% reduced damage taken if you've taunted an enemy recently. Enemies taunted by you deal 20% less damage with hits and elements against other enemies. Increased evasion rating and armor, and increased taunt duration. Here we got increased attack damage, evasion rating, and armor. Your hits permanently intimidate enemies that are on full life. Gain adrenaline for 20 seconds when you reach low life. If you do not have adrenaline, recover 20% of life when you gain adrenaline. Remove all ailments and burning when you gain adrenaline. Then we have increased evasion rating and armor, increased effect of fortify on you, 20% increased attack speed while you have fortify, 500 plus to armor evasion rating while you have fortify, cannot be stunned while you have fortify. Increased evasion rating and armor, increased effectiveness effect of fortify, and then you have fortify. So if you want to have fortify without having the skill, you can go ahead and just go all the way up there. Here, increased evasion rating and armor, chance to impale enemies on hit with attack. Impales you inflict last one additional hit. If you've impaled an enemy recently, you and nearby allies have a plus 1,000 to armor. You and nearby allies gain 6 to 12 added physical damage for each impale on enemy. So for the champion, here are the changes. The additional hit, and they took them off here. So instead of it lasting 2, it lasts 1. Definitely quite a bit of changes here. And then last of it here, increase the effect of fortify, all that fun stuff. So for assassin, we have gain elusive on critical strike, 50% increase elusive effect. You take no extra damage from critical strikes while elusive. 10% increase of elusive effect, 5% to critical strike multiplier per power charge, 1.5 critical strike chance while at maximum power charge, increased power charge duration and critical strike chance, chance to gain a power charge on critical strike, chance to gain power charge on non-critical strike, and plus 1 to maximum power charges, and then power charge duration and crit chance again. Crit multiplier, crit chance. Damage from your critical strikes cannot be reflected. 25% more damage while there is at most one rare or unique item enemy nearby. Reduce damage taken while there are at least 2 rare or unique enemies nearby. Critical strike modifier and chance. More damage with hits and elements against enemies that are on low life. 40% to critical strike multiplier at full life. 100% more crit strike chance against enemies full life. 100% more crit chance against enemies that are on low life. So if they're full, do 100% more low life, 100% more not in between. Critical strike, have culling strike. Damage over time, crit chance. 30% to damage over time multiplier for poison, 40% chance to poison on hit, 5% increased poison duration for each poison you have inflicted recently. Recover 0.5% of life per poison affecting enemies you kill. Damage over time and crit chance increase, and then poison you afflict with crit strikes deal 50% more damage, 0.5% to crit strike chance per poison affecting enemies up to 2%. Here are the changes. And there we go. So they changed it from removed the movement speed and gave a 10% increase elusive effect there. Lowered the damage over time here, and they took away the 10% moving speed while at maximum power charges from there. So, interesting changes. All right, so Saboteur, we have 40% to critical strike modifier against burning enemies, 80% increased critical strike chance against shocked enemies, damage penetrates, 10% elemental resist against chilled enemies, 10% increased trap damage, mind damage, 6% to all elemental resists, 10% trap and mind damage, and 5% trap throwing speed. You gain 10% increased damage for each trap, 25% chance for traps to trigger an additional time, 25% reduced mana cost of skills that throw traps, trap and mind damage 10%, 5% increased trap throw speed, and then we have 50% increased cooldown recovery rate for throwing traps. Skills used by traps have 50% increased area effect. When your traps trigger, your nearby traps also trigger. Here we got trap mind damage 10% and increased movement speed 4%. Immune to ignite and shock. Regenerate 2% of life per second. For each mine, detonate recently up to 10% per second. Regenerate 2% of life for each trap trigger recently up to 10%. Trap mine damage increase 10%. Mine throwing speed. That one was 5%, and then you gain 5% increased area of effect for each mine. 25 increase mine throwing speed if you detonate mine recently. Mines have 25% increased detonation speed. Again, trap and mine damage increase 10%, and mine throwing speed 5%. Increased effect of auras from mines. Mines hinder enemies near them for 2 seconds when they land, reducing movement speed by 40%. Here we got mine and trap damage 10% and movement speed 4%, and then cannot be blinded. 10% reduced damage taken from blinding enemies. Nearby enemies are blinded. Blind enemies on hit. And here we go of the changes. Quite a bit of change here. And then the last one, Bomb Specialist. Significant change to that as well. Alright, so Trickster. We have increased damage, attacks, and cast speed 4%. 27% chance to gain 25% of non-chaos damage with hits as extra chaos. 13% chance to gain 50% of non-chaos done as extra chaos, and then 7% to gain 100% of non-chaos. Then we got increased damage over time, 10%, increased attack and cast speed 4%. Prolonged pain is 20% increased skill effect duration, reduced damage taken from damage over time, and 20% more damage over time. Then we have 10% increased damage over time and 4% attack and cast speed. Recover 3% of life on kill. Recover 3% of energy shield on kill. Recover 3% of mana on kill. That's interesting. 70% increased recovery rate of life, mana, and energy shield if you have killed an enemy affected by your damage over time recently. Increased evasion rating, increased maximum energy shield, and attack and cast speed. Over here we have attack and cast speed, increased frenzy charge duration, power charge duration, +1 to maximum frenzy charges and power charges. 15% chance to gain a frenzy charge and a power charge on kill. Increased damage per frenzy charge and power charge. Gain a power charge or frenzy charge each second while channeling. Increase maximum mana, increase maximum cast speed. Increase maximum mana 30%, maximum movement skills cost no mana. 20% increase attack and cast speed if you have used a movement spell recently. 30% increase recovery. 30% increase, or 30% chance to recover 10% of mana while when you use a skill. This is going to be a pretty good class so far from us. Increased invasion rating, increased maximum energy shield, and increased attack and cast speed. We've got 3% reduced damage taken per Ghost Shroud. Every 2 seconds gain a Ghost Shroud up to a maximum of 3. When hit, lose a Ghost Shroud and recover energy shield equal to 30% of your invasion rating. 14% increased evasion rating, 5% increased maximum energy shield, and increased attack and cast speed. And then +5 to evasion rating for 1 maximum energy shield on helmet, +1 to maximum energy shield per 6 evasion rating on body armor, 5% increased attack and cast speed per Ghost Shroud. It cannot be stunned while you have Ghost Shroud. Interesting. These are the changes. So it looks like they increased this a bit, but they did lower the mana on kill a little bit. And last but not least, these two. So they changed it from damage over time to damage there in increase of durations. Juggernaut. Plus 500 to actually rating, 1% increased attack speed per 150 actually rating, gain actually rating equal to twice your strength, 6% increased attack speed, and 15% increased armor. Movement speed cannot be stunned. Attack speed cannot be modified to below base value. Movement speed cannot be modified to below base value. Increased armor and movement speed. Down here, regenerate 2% of your life per second. 5% reduced damage taken. Armor received from body armor is doubled. 1.5% of total physical damage prevented from hits in the past 10 seconds is regenerated as life per second. We've got increased armor and endurance charge duration. Chance to gain an endurance charge when you are hit. 25% chance if you would gain an endurance charge, you instead gain up to your maximum number of endurance charges. Gain 1 endurance charge every second if you've been hit recently, and +1 to maximum endurance charge. Increased armor and stun duration on enemies. Increased damage per endurance charge. 6% increased area of effect per endurance charge. 25% chance to gain an endurance charge when you stun an enemy. And 10% stun duration on enemies per endurance charge. Then we have increased armor, endurance charge duration. Get over here, and then 1% additional physical damage reduction per endurance charge. 8% reduction, reduced elemental damage taken while at maximum endurance charges, and 4% to chaos resistance per endurance charge. And these are the little bit of changes here. Alright, so for Berserker, we have 2% more attack speed per blitz charge, 8% reduced critical sight chance per blitz charge, gain a blitz charge on a critical strike, 20% plus 20 to maximum blitz charges, increase attack speed or attack physical damage and crit chance, 50% increased crit chance for attacks, adds 20 to 30 physical damage to attacks if you dealt a critical strike recently, 25% 2 critical modifier, increased attack, physical damage, and crit chance. War Cries grant 10 rage per 5 power if you have less than 25 rage. War Cries sacrifice 10 rage if you have at least 25 rage. Exerted attacks deal 50% more damage if a War Cry sacrificed rage recently. And then attack, physical damage, and War Cry speed. Attack damage, physical damage, and total recovery per second from life leech. 2% of attack damage leached as life, 2% attack damage leached as mana, 30% increased attack speed if you've been hit recently, 50% increased maximum total recovery per second from life leech if you've taken a savage hit recently. Then we have attack, physical damage, and attack speed. Increased damage taken. Deal 40% more damage, so you can take a little bit more, but you also give out quite a bit more. Attack, physical damage, and attack speed. We have gain 1 rage on hit with attacks no more than once every 0.3 seconds, plus 10 to maximum rage. Increase attack, physical damage, and attack speed. Lose 0.1% of life per second per rage while you are not losing rage. Inherent effects from having rage are tripled. Cannot be stunned while you have at least 25 rage. And these are the changes here. So they increase the total recovery speed for leech, added the plus 10 to rage, lowered the crit chance, and then raised the attack speed here. So for the Chieftain, we have regenerate. Regenerate 0.5% of life per second per endurance charge, 15% more damage if you've lost an endurance charge in the past 8 seconds. Gain 1 endurance charge every second if you've used a War Cry recently, plus 1 to maximum endurance charges. Regenerate 0.5% of life per second, 5% chance to gain an endurance charge on kill. Regenerate 0.5% life per second, 10% increased totem placement speed. 2% of damage dealt by your totems is leached to you as life. 100% increased effect of buffs granted by your active ancestral totem. Ancestral totems have 100% increased effective range. 10% to fire resistance, regenerate 0.5% of life per second, plus 100% to fire resistance, 15% of physical damage from hits taken as fire, 50% increase life recovery rate if you've taken fire damage from an enemy. Regenerate 0.5% of life per second. Totem placement speed. Totems are immune to fire damage. Enemies near your totems deal 8% less damage. Enemies near your totems take 16% increased physical and fire damage. 25% increased area effect while you have a totem. 10% increase area of effect, regenerate 0.5% of life per second. Trigger level 20 Toas chosen when you attack with a non-vol slam skill near an enemy. Increase fire damage, regenerate 0.5% life. 25% to fire damage over time modifier, 25% chance to ignite. Damage penetrates 15% of fire resistance. Fire damage, life regen. 1% of fire damage leeches life. Cover rare or unique enemies in ash for 10 seconds on hit. 10% increased strength. fire damage and life regeneration. 50% increase physical damage converted to fire. Every 10 seconds gain 100% of physical damage as extra fire damage for 4 seconds. Increase fire damage and life regen. And here are the changes. Alright, so for the Necromancer, over here, auras from your skills grant 3% increased attack and cast speed to you and allies. You and nearby allies deal 30% increased damage and have 30% increase 30% to elemental resists. Minions deal 10% increased damage, 5% increased effect of non-cursed auras from your skills. Maximum mana and minion deal 10% increased damage. For each nearby corpse, you and nearby allies regenerate 0.2% of energy shield per second, up to 2%. For each nearby corpse, you and nearby allies regenerate 5 mana per second, up to 50 per second. Regenerate 8% of energy shield for 2 seconds when you consume a corpse, and regenerate 8% of mana every 2 seconds when you consume a corpse. Coming down here, minions have 10% life and damage. Minions have 10% increased movement speed, 30% damage, 10% attack and cast speed. Minions have 10% increased max life and damage. +2 to the level of all minion skill gems. Minions have 10% life and damage here. Grants level 20 bone armor on armor skill. 1% additional physical damage reduction per minion, up to 10%. 2% increased recovery rate of life and energy shield per minion, up to 20% minion. Minions have 20% more maximum life. Over here we have cast speed and minions deal increased damage. If you consumed a corpse recently, you and your minions have 30% increased area of effect. With at least one nearby corpse, you and nearby allies deal 10% more damage. With at least one nearby corpse, nearby enemies deal 10% reduced damage. And then, wrong way. Cast speed, deal damage, 10%. Minions deal 10% more damage. 2% increased attack speed and cast speed for each corpse consumed recently, up to a maximum of 200%. Enemies near corpses you spawn recently are chilled and shocked. Corpses you spawn have a 50% increased maximum life. And 10% increased skill effect. Minions deal increased 10% increased damage. Your offering skills also affect you. Your offerings have 50% reduced effect on you and 40% increased skill effect duration. And here are all the changes for the Necro. So lower the minion damage, lower the minion damage. Looks like they're going after the minions this round. More minion reductions. Occultist. We have you can apply an additional curse, 15% increased effect of your curses. Enemies you curse have malediction. Then 8% increased maximum energy shield, 5% increased effect of curses. Energy shield and curses again. Your hexes can affect hexproof enemies. Cursed enemies you or your minions kill have a 40% chance to explode, dealing a quarter of their maximum life as chaos damage. Then we have increased cold and physical or cold and chaos damage, and then 6% increased maximum energy shield. Nearby enemies have negative 20% to cold resist and chaos resist, and have 100% reduced life regeneration rate, increased chaos damage and energy shield. plus 60% to chaos resistance, 15% more chaos damage. Every second, inflict withered on nearby enemies for 15 seconds. Nearby hindered enemies take 15% reduced damage over time. Cold damage and maximum energy shield. And then cannot be chilled, cannot be frozen, 15% more cold damage every 4 seconds, 30% chance to freeze nearby chilled unique enemies for 0.6 seconds, 4% chance to freeze nearby chilled non-unique enemies for 0.6 seconds. Can nearby chilled enemies deal 10% reduce damage with hits. Increase maximum energy shield recovery rate increased. Regenerate 40 energy shield per second. Regenerate 2% of energy shield per second for each enemy you or your minions have killed recently, up to 10% per second. Cannot be stunned while you have energy shield. Maximum energy shield and power charge duration. 6% increased effect per power charge. Increased damage per power charge. Gain a power charge after spending a total of 200 mana. And then 1 to maximum power charges. So here are all the changes. And here's the rest of them. All right, Elementalist. Here's the one where they supposedly made a lot of changes to, or one of them. Gain convergence when you hit a unique enemy no more than once every 8 seconds. 60% increased area of effect while you don't have convergence. Increased elemental damage by 10%. Attack speed and cast speed by 4%. Exposure you inflict applies an extra negative 25% to the affected resistant. Regenerate 1% of mana per second if you have inflicted exposure recently. Increased elemental damage and increased attack and cast speed. Plus 4% to fire damage over time modifier. 10% increase elemental damage. Your hits always ignite. All damage with hits can ignite. 25% more damage with ignite you inflict with hits for which the highest damage type is fire. Increased elemental damage and increased effect of cold elements. All damage with hits can chill. Chill from your hits always reduce action speed by at least 15%. 50% more effect of cold elements you inflict with hits for which the highest damage type is cold. Your chills can reduce action speed by up to a maximum of 40%. Increased elemental damage. Increased effect of lightning elements. Your hits always shock. All damage with hits can shock. Shock from your hits always increase damage taken by at least 15%. 25% more effect of lightning elements you inflict with hits if the highest damage type is lightning. 6% to all elemental resists. 25% increase effect of buffs granted by your golem per summon golem. Summon golems are resummoned 4 seconds after being killed. Plus 1 to maximum number of summoned golems. Plus 6 to all elemental resist. 10% increased elemental damage. Summon golems are immune to elemental damage. 35% chance to avoid elemental elements per summon golem. 25% increase effect of buffs granted by your golem per summoned golem, plus 1 to maximum summon golem. And then we have 6% to all elemental resist, 10% to increase elemental damage, and then trigger level 20 Primal Aegis when allocated. Primal Aegis can take 100 damage per allocated Notable passive skill. Other Aegis skills are disabled. Cannot take reflect elemental damage. So here's all the changes for the elemental. Well, they're all changes because these are the ones that they added. And these are the ones they removed. And these are the ones that they modified. Alright, now Deadeye. It's another one. Let's start over here. Increase projectile speed, projectile damage, far shot. Projectile barrages have no spread. Projectile speed, damage. Fires 2 additional projectiles. Global accuracy rating and projectile damage. Skills chain plus 1 times. Projectiles have 30% chance to be able to chain when colliding with terrain. 10% increased global accuracy rating and projectile damage. Projectile damage and Mirage Archer duration. Mirage Archers are not attached to you. +2 to maximum number of summon Mirage Archers. Cannot summon Mirage Arbor while near your Mirage Archers. So if you're standing by one, it won't spawn another one. Increase projectile damage and Mirage Archer duration. Global accuracy rating and projectile damage. Oh, I already did those. Did that one. Attack speed and projectile damage. Gain 1 Gale Force when you use a skill. 15% increase effect of Tailwind on you per Gale Force. You and nearby allies have Tailwind. Increase attack speed and projectile damage. 3% less damage taken per Gale Force. Lose all Gale Force when hit. Increase projectile damage. Mark skills have 25% increased cast speed. Increased effect of your marks, 75%, 25% less damage taken from other enemies near your marked enemy. Marks can inflict are not removed from dying enemies. Increased projectile damage and crit chance. And then crit strikes which inflict bleeding also inflict rupture. Sorry. And here are the ones that they added. Here are the ones that they removed. So that's one they did kind of nix there. And then here are the ones that they modified. Quite a few changes on that one. And then we have Raider. Well, the limited choices are Avatar of the Chase, 100% increase onslaught effect, 35% more chance to evade melee attacks during onslaught, 35% more chance to evade projectile attacks during onslaught, increase evasion and onslaught effect, 50% increase of onslaught effect. You have onslaught, evasion and onslaught effect, evasion and movement speed, chance to dodge attacks, chance to dodge spells, phasing. So you'll have phasing at all times. Increase evasion rating, movement speed, immune to elemental elements while phasing. Nearby enemies have fire, cold, and lightning exposure while you are phasing, applying negative 20% to those resistances. Nearby enemies have 20% less accuracy rating while you are phasing. Increase of frenzy charge duration and evasion rating. Chance to gain frenzy charge on kill. Chance to gain frenzy charge when you hit a rare or unique enemy. +1 to frenzy charge. Evasion rating, frenzy charge duration. Increased evasion rating per frenzy charge. Movement speed per frenzy charge. Attack speed and attack damage per frenzy charge. So these are the modified ones. And that's the end of that. So now we are going to get into the Pathfinder. Pathfinder, immune to elemental ailments during any flask effect, 40% increase elemental damage per any flask effect, chance to freeze shock and ignite during any flask effect, increase flash charges gained, increase flasks applied to you have 5% increased effect. 6% reduced elemental damage taken. Flask gain 3 charges every 3 seconds. 20% chance for flasks you use to not consume charges. Flash charge gained, and then flask applied to you 5% increased effect. Here we have gain 15% of physical damage as extra damage of a random element. Damage penetrates 10% elemental resist. Enemies you kill that are affected by elemental elements grant 100% increased flash charges. More increased flask effect duration. Flasks applied to you have 5% increased effect. Movement speed during any flask effect and attack speed. Increased flask effect duration. Flask applied to you, 5% increased effect. Removes bleeding from you when you use a flask. Gain a flash charge when you deal a crit strike and recover 60% of life when you use a flask. Increase chaos damage and flask increased effect on you. 40% of physical damage converted to chaos damage, 15% more chaos damage from attacks, and chaos skills have 30% increased area of effect. Blast applied increased effect 5% and poison duration. Poison you inflict during any of flask effect have 30% chance to deal 100% more damage when you kill a poisoned enemy during any flask effect. Nearby enemies are poisoned. And here are the modifies or the changes. Inquisitor. Gain fanaticism for 4 seconds on reaching maximum fanatic charges. Gain 1 fanatic charge every second for if you've attacked in the past second. Lose all fanatic charges on reaching maximum fanatic charges, plus 4 to maximum fanatic charges. Elemental damage and attack and cast speed increase. 10% more attack damage for each non-instant spell you've cast in the past 8 seconds, up to a maximum of 30%. Battle Mage, and then increased elemental damage and attack and cast speed again. Increased elemental damage and crit strike multiplier. 1% increased crit strike chance per point of strength or intelligence, whichever is lower, plus 50 to strength and intelligence, and then 10% increased elemental damage, 10% increased crit multiplier. Crit strikes ignore enemy monster elemental resist. Non-critical strikes penetrate 10% of enemy elemental resist. 10% to all elemental resists and elemental damage. Nearby enemies take 16% increased elemental damage and deal 8% less elemental damage. Regenerate 0.5% of life per second, 10% increased elemental damage. Consecrated ground you create applies 15% increased damage taken to enemies. You have consecrated ground around you while stationary. Regenerate 0.5% of your life per second, 10% increased elemental damage, and then consecrated ground you create causes life regenerate to also recovery energy shield for you and allies. Consecrated ground you create grants immunity to elemental elements to you and allies. Effects of consecrated ground you create linger for 4 seconds. And these are the added. These are the modified. In the Hierophant, we have 30% increased area of effect while you have Arcane Surge, immune to elemental elements while you have Arcane Surge, 0.5% of spell damage leech as life while you have Arcane Surge, mana regeneration effect of Arcane Surge on you, increased of 50% increase effect of Arcane Surge on you, gain Arcane Surge when you or your totem hit an enemy with a spell. Mana regeneration and arcane surge on you increase. Increase mana and mana regeneration rate. +4 to maximum endurance charges and endurance and power charges. +1 to maximum power charges and maximum endurance charges. Increase mana regeneration rate and totem placement speed. 100% increased totem duration, +1 to maximum number of summoned totems, and a 100% increased totem placement speed, mana regeneration, and totem placement speed. And then 5% more damage per summoned totem. Regenerate 0.5% of mana per second for each summoned totem. You and your totem regenerate 1% of life per second for each summoned totem. Here we have mana regeneration rate and brand damage. Brands have 100% more activation frequency if 75% of attached duration expired. Brand recall has 100% increased cooldown recovery rate. Increase maximum mana and mana regeneration rate. Increase maximum mana. 10% of damage is taken from mana before life. Transfiguration of mind. Maximum mana and mana regeneration rate, and then we have 20% of maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield, 1% increased area of effect per 50 unreserved maximum mana up to 100%, 50% less mana cost of skills, 10% increased mana reservation of skills. And here are the modified. Quite a bit of change here. And then we have Guardian. Guardian, auras from your skills grant 1% physical damage reduction for you and allies. Auras from your skills grant 0.2% of life regeneration per second to you and allies. Increased armor, increased maximum energy shield, increased effect of non-curse auras from your skills. Grants armor equal to 160% of your reserved life to you and nearby allies. Grants maximum energy shield equal to 10% of your reserved mana to you and nearby allies. Increased armor, energy shield, and effect of non-curse auras from your skills. Nearby enemies cannot gain power charge, frenzy, or endurance charges. You and nearby party members share power, frenzy, and endurance charges with each other. 20% chance to gain a power, frenzy, and endurance charge on hit. Let's see here. Armor, energy shield, and then regenerate 0.5% life per second. 80% reduced effect of curses on you. Every 4 seconds, regenerate 30% of life over 1 second. 14% increased armor, and then 5% increased maximum energy shield. Minions deal 10% increased damage. 20% to all elemental resists. While there are at least 5 nearby allies, you and nearby allies have onslaught. While there is at least 1 nearby ally you and nearby enemies deal 10% more damage. Increased armor, maximum energy shield, and minions deal more damage. Nearby allies have 20% increased attack, cast, and movement speed. 30% increased area of effect. Allies intimidate enemies for 4 seconds and unnerve enemies for 4 seconds. Increased armor, maximum energy shield, and chance to block attack. And then we have 50% chance to block an attack damage for 2 seconds every 5 seconds. If you've blocked in the past 10 seconds, you and nearby allies cannot be stunned. If you've attacked recently, you and nearby allies have a 10% chance to block attack damage. If you've cast a spell recently, you and nearby allies have 10% chance to block spell damage. And here are the changes here. And then we have Ascendant. Quite a bit to go over here. So we'll start at the top. Plus 40 intelligence, plus 1 passive skill point. And then we go over here. You have an apply. You can apply an additional curse. 10% increased effect of your curses. Regenerate 1.5% of your energy shield per second. Cannot be stunned while you have an energy shield. Flesh offering skills also affect you, and your offerings have 50% reduce effect on you. Minions deal 30% increased damage. Auras from your skills grant 2% increased attack and cast speed for you and allies. If you've consumed a corpse recently, you and nearby minions have you and your minions have 30% increased area of effect. Shocks from your hits always increase damage taken by at least 10%. Cannot take reflect elemental damage. Exposure you inflict applies an extra negative 20% of the afflicted resistance. Plus 1 to maximum number of summon golem. Passive point, and then Path of the Witch. Can allocate passes from the Witch's starting point. Grants 2 passive skill points. And then over here, plus 20 strength and intelligence, passive point. 25% reduced effect of curses on you. The auras from your skills grant 1% physical damage reduction to you and allies. Every 4 seconds, regenerate 20% of life every 1 second. You and nearby party members share power, frenzy, and endurance charges. While there are at least 5 nearby allies, you and nearby allies have onslaught. 25% increased maximum mana, 1 to maximum number of some totems. 8% increased damage taken from mana before life. 25% increased effect of Arcane Surge on you. Gain Arcane Surge when you or your totem hits an enemy with a spell. Damage penetrates 8% of enemy elemental resist. 10% chance to create consecrated ground on when you hit a rare or unique enemy. Lasting 8 seconds. Immune to elemental ailments while on consecrated ground. Nearby enemies take 10% increased elemental damage. Passive point, and then can allocate passes from Templar starting point. Grants 2 passive skill points. Strength 40 passive point. Chieftain is 40% increased fire damage, regenerate 2% of life per second. 1% of damage dealt by your totem is leached to you as life. 20% chance to cover rare or unique enemies with ash for 10 seconds on hit. 10% increased strength. Increased damage taken 15% more damage. Gain 1 rage every hit with attacks, no more than once every 3.3 seconds. 2% of attacks damage leached as life and mana if you've killed recently. Cannot be stunned while you have at least 25 rage. 1,000 to accuracy rating, cannot be chilled or stunned. 5% increased damage per endurance charge. Gain 1 endurance charge every second if you've hit recently. Passive point, and then you can allocate passes in Marauder starting point. Gain 2 passive skill, 20 strength and dexterity passive point. Slayer Culling Strike, Life Leech effects are not removed at full life. 30% increase area of effect if you've killed recently. Cannot take reflect physical damage. Chance to block an attack spell damage. 3% to maximum chance to block an attack. 25% chance to blind enemies on hit with attacks, and 25% more damage with bleeding. 50% chance to fortify on melee hit. Enemies taunted by you take 10% increased damage. 100% chance to taunt an enemy. 15% increased effect of non-curse auras from your skills. Your hit permanently intimidates enemies that are on full life. Passive point, and then you can put passives in duelist start area, and then you get 2 passives. 40 dex, passive point. Increase movement speed, chance to dodge attacks, phasing. You have onslaught while on full frenzy charges. 10% chance to gain a frenzy charge when you hit a rare or unique enemy. Increased effect of your marks. Projectiles gain damage as they travel further, dealing up to 50% increased damage with hits to targets. Skills fire an additional projectile. You and nearby allies have Tailwind. 15% chance on flasks you use to not consume charges. Recover 4% life when you use a flask. And then we have passive point, and then you can put points in the ranger starting point and gain 2 passives. And then we have 20 dex and intel passive. Trickster, 20% chance to gain frenzy charge and power charge on kills. 70% increase recovery rate of life, mana, and energy shield if you've killed an enemy affected by your damage over time recently. 20% chance to gain 50% of non-chaos damage with hits as extra chaos damage. Cannot be stunned if you haven't been hit recently. Increased area of effect. Damage penetrates 8% of enemy elemental resist. Regenerate 2% of life per second for each mine and trap, up to 10%. 25% chance to blind enemies on hit. And then 0.75% to critical strike chance. 10% chance to gain power charge on critical strike. 10% chance to gain elusive on critical strike. Damage from your critical strike cannot be reflected. Then passive point, and then you can allocate points into at the shadow starting point. You gain 2 skill points. So here's the modified. All right. In case y'all missed those. And then Saboteur. And that is it. Sorry for the long video, but quite a bit of info, like I said at the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. So, like I said, the video is already long enough as it is. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know it's not the funnest thing, but hopefully y'all got all the information y'all need to start making some choices for builds and all that fun stuff. If y'all could leave a comment down below, let me know what y'all think of the changes. Which one do you like the most? Which one you hate the most? Which one kind of made you go, really? What were you thinking? Stuff like that. So just leave a comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Don't forget the giveaway link is down below. Go click it and you can enter to win a copy of Last Epoch action RPG game. Giveaway will be at the end of the month. I'll be giving away a different game every month going forward. If you like the content, please smash that like button. Definitely appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. Also, smash that subscribe button over there. Um, that way you're alerted whenever I bring out new videos, new content, and all that fun stuff. Also, Discord link is down below. Come join us. We're more than happy to have you join. Like I said, I'll be playing with my community. So if you need someone to help farm stuff, ask questions, whatever the case may be, jump on in there. I'll be more than happy. You can join me at any time. I'm not that worried about it. I like playing with people to grow and have fun. So like I said, my name is Devin from Deadeye Gaming. You all have a great one. See y'all next time.